Good afternoon, everyone. This is Clara coming to you from North Carolina again. I am back with a set of cards this week. Wasn't sure last week whether I'd be able to or not, but I've had my MRI, and even though I don't know anything yet and the pain's not gone, at least we're in the process to finding out what's wrong. So enough about that. Just wanted to let you know the status. I'll just keep you posted, and if I have to miss a week, I'll just let you know as best I can. Today, we are going to make this card, and I hope you'll excuse the ink on my hands. It seems that I have managed to get it all over here again, but that's part of the trade, I guess. Anyway, this is the card that I made, and this is from a set called Dashing Deer that came out last year. But I thought it would be fun to try it with some of the new colors and the new paper and what have you. So we'll talk about this one in a few minutes. You can see what the outside looks like. And the inside is that sentiment that I like so much. So I'll set this one up here and show you what else I came up with. First of all, let me show you the set so it'll make some sense to you maybe. This is called Dashing Deer. And it's got that pretty deer that you just saw on the card. It's got some nice sentiments. It's got two deer that stamp solid, which you will see in a few minutes. And a pretty little row of flowers. It looks like poinsettias or something. So that's the set. It's a nice rubber set. I'll just open it up so you can see it. And it's still in, it is in the annual catalog. It's not in the fall flyer or smaller catalog that comes out. I also used the Merry Christmas to All, this little stamp right here that I like so much. You know, this set is a great set when you're making Christmas cards. This might be one that you'd want to invest in and use year after year, where you've, got some Christmas sentiments and good things to choose from. It's in the large annual catalog too, but I don't know how long it'll be there. We never know. Along with that first Dashing Deer comes this detailed Thinlits die set. And I don't have a magnet for this set, but I'll pull this out so you can see. I don't know what that is. And these cuts out real pretty little corners. Woo! Dropped it right in the middle of my cards. And there's all the little poinsettias that you can cut out. And then these are the larger pieces. You got that nice deer that I put on the front. And you got this deer that looks like it's leaping, as you can see on that card. And then the two little deer that stamp solid, you can cut those out too. I've got a couple of those. So those are the dies that goes, you don't purchase those anymore as a bundle, but they do go with that set. And the only other thing I think I used was my oval layering set. I used the next to the largest smooth circle and the largest scalloped one. So we'll talk about these cards, and I'll show you how I put this card together, and we'll get this little project taken care of. In this particular card, I used that same deer. This is the shaded spruce color. I used an embossing folder to make it look like it was snowing in the back, and stamped Merry Christmas. That was from that set I told you that I really like to have year round. And then I never can remember the name of it. Merry Christmas Tall is the name of it. And then I put that pretty sentiment, may the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy. Put that on the inside. And I also made a little tag here, and I used a scalloped edge from the Be Mine set. And I thought that added a little something different to it. So that's the one example of what I came up with. This one, it is setting center of the heirloom die set. This is one of the heirloom dies. You get an oval or a rectangular one, both of those in this set. But I put it against the Night of Navy. I put a little bit of early espresso in the bottom of it to give the deer something to stand on. Made this one look more like a realistic deer, even though it's got that different shades of color in there. Took one of those little flowers and put it on its neck and dressed it up a little bit for Christmas, put some stars in behind, and as you can see, I gave it an eye and a nose and what have you. So that gives that one a little different touch. And the inside is the same on, I think, probably all of these. Just different colors based on the colors that I used. This one I also used the shaded spruce. This is real red. This is a piece of the wrapped all around. It's the plaid set for Christmas. It comes in a 6x6 inch pack. It's got lots of different things in it that you can use. I used one more out of that set, I guess. But I couldn't resist the little white deer, and then I put a big white deer up, leaping forward, and happiest Christmas wishes, and the inside then is stamped in the shaded spruce. Decided that we wouldn't have all of these as Christmas cards, so I decided I'd make one that looked more like a birthday card for a gentleman. And I sponged the background and added a little lighter color down here towards the bottom. These are the deer that are stamped. It makes it look like they're standing in behind the trees. This is one that I use that scalloped edge on, only this is early espresso. And the light blue color is called Balmy Blue. That's what it is. This is Balmy Blue. I wanted to make sure I told you right. I had some gold thread that I used, and I took this piece of like burlap ribbon, and I just wrapped some gold around that too. I don't know if you can see or not, to kind of coordinate it with that. And this is a gold gem that you can get from Stampin' Up. And on the inside, I put, hope your day just brings what it should, happiness, health, and everything good. And then I put something that looks kind of like fall down there with some pine cones and a couple of sprigs of greenery. So that's the happy birthday card out of this set. This one, I put on one of the nested die. It's just called nested dies. And it's, this is the glitter paper in the copper that we had last year. This is actually not available, but the copper foil is. And I didn't have any copper foil, so I used the copper glitter paper that I had left from last year. This is a part of this brightly gleaming paper set. And I did this deer in blue, and I believe my ribbon has come off the, whoops, come off the glue dot there. I guess I didn't press hard enough. I thought I had. Okay. Well, we'll just fix it, maybe, if I can. There we go. Anyway, sometimes you have to stick them down or they have minds of their own. Anyway, and then I had some ribbon that had that same copper color on the edging of it. So I thought that made this one sparkly and look very different than the others. Then I stamped this one in the Night of Navy. This is Night of Navy around here too. Well, let's talk about some more Night of Navy. So this is Night of Navy and Cherry Cobbler. I put two of these little deer together as if they were part of Santa's deers to pull a sleigh or something. I just put two beside, put a big red bow here, put the moon in behind, and then I just put Merry Christmas, stamped that, and put a little scrap of this checked cherry cobbler that came from somewhere last year, I guess. But, you know, you can use any kind of little piece of paper, whatever you like. This one, I went ahead and I put those pretty cutouts that I was showing you a few minutes ago. I use these on some other cards too, and I really do like these. They are so pretty when you get them out like that. It makes such a nice inside. And the last one here. This one has a piece of plaid paper that came out of that set that's I think it's called wrapped all around or plaid all around or something like that. And this one's got the green and the blue and a little bit of gold. And as you can see, I'll use that winter wood set some. This one has got the swirly embossing. I used the swirly embossing folder to get this background. And here are two of the little deers, and there again, I gave them a face and, you know, did some little hooves and things just to make them look a little bit more real. And the inside of this one says, "May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy." So I think we come up with some different kinds for this set for this year. And they look different from last year, even though it is the same set that that came out earlier last year. If you think of it, press the subscribe button. I'd appreciate that. And if you need any of the materials as we make this bow, please use this host code. And you will be able to help me. And if you spend up to $150, you don't use the host code, because Stampin' Up is big-hearted. They'll give you a freebie of $15 merchandise if you spend that much with them. So anyway, this is the card, like I said, and this one is a little bit untraditional, I guess you would say. The colors are certainly, we've got some traditional and some untraditional, I guess. Maybe be a way to say that. This deer is done out of the new color, Rocco Rose. And I thought it turned out very unique, and I liked it. I hope you will. So let's lay these pieces out and talk about what you're going to need here for this card. First thing we always have is a card base. The card base is 5.5 by 8.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4 inches. And for me, it's usually Whisper White or Very Vanilla. This one is Whisper White. I cut 2 pieces of the Cherry Cobbler red, which is the deeper red color. And this one is at 5 1/4 by 4. And that's what the one for the inside is. We're going to layer the one on top. We'll put this one inside. And this is the piece that I stamped the sentiment on while I was stamping all the rest of them. It is 5 inches by 3 3/4. And like I said, this is Cherry Cobbler ink. It's Cherry Cobbler paper. This is a piece of plaid that came out of that Christmas set for this year. It is 2.5 inches by 5 inches. I have to stop and think a second, because this one is 5 1/4, this one's 5. 2.5 by 5. And it will go on the front here, and then we'll place it there. And like I said, I used the largest scalloped oval, and I used the next to the largest smooth oval for this. And I had a piece of, this is called Cherry Cobbler double stitched, and I guess that's why it's called double stitched, because one side it's got 2 lines of of stitching, and the other it's got little X's. So it's just a matter of which side you want to use, I suppose. You're going to need about 6 inches of this, give or take a little bit. I'm not real precise on that. And tie yourself a little bow. I use something called the Bow-Rama or bow all around. It's just a couple of little pegs that you can wrap your ribbon around. It helps to hold it, because I'm not great at holding the ribbon in place. Okay, I hope I haven't forgotten to tell you anything. I told you this is Rocco Rose. I wanted you to be sure and know that. So we will glue these together to start with. And I'm using just this multi-purpose glue. And of course you want to try to center it, and that's really not too hard to do because you're just going to have such a tiny little border all the way around. It just makes your image stand out a little bit. Just make sure that when you put it down you don't slip it, because it can slide a little bit and you're not mean for it to. All right, there's that. We'll just lay that and that'll firm up a little bit. We're going to take this piece of plaid and we are going to put a little glue on the back of it. This is a really easy card to make. Most everything I try to make is easy. I don't think cards have to be really complicated to get them to look nice. You just want to try to get your colors coordinated, and there again, Stampin' Up! Really does help with that. Okay, well, there's something went as usual. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of ribbon, and I was reaching over to get my Scotch tape, is what I was reaching over to get. Let's see if I can get that. As they say, eyeball it and get it pretty close. I certainly hope so. I'll tape it, then I'll look at it again, and if I think it's off, I'll adjust it. Let's see. Yeah, I believe that looks pretty good. Okay. What I am going to do, we're going to use some dimensionals to put on the back of this, and I am going to put glue dots, what I'm trying to say. Please forgive me, my brain just kind of stalls every once in a while. One of the joys of getting older, I suppose. The glue dots come in a little box on a roll like this. And the only reason that I'm doing this is just to help secure it. You know, I'm not going to put anything lumpy or bumpy all the way across there, but it'll just kind of help to hold it in the center. So that's why I was looking for my pick your tool. And for this one, we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of it, stand it up a little bit. I hope you folks have had a good week. It's been pretty acceptable here. I can't complain too much. No catastrophes. I often say boring is good because that means everything's going along at the status quo anyway. I'm going to take a little piece of edging, and I'll show you what I have here in just a second. If you got a little place that's, you know, that's kind of long in the center, these are good to use. Instead of putting so many glue dots, you can just peel off a little piece like that and stick it across the center, and you're good to go. It uses up that edge and serves the purpose that you need anyway. Okay, these little glue dots have all got protective coverings so that when you remove this side of them, you've got a sticky side on both sides that sticks to whatever you want to put on your card, as well as then it will stick to the card, which is nice. They do come in mini glue dots. I honestly like these bigger ones a little bit better, but that's just my personal preference, like I said. There we go. Now then, I've got a little box here. I try to keep my tools in it so I can find them. I'm famous for having things right under my nose and still not being able to see it. Okay. Let's see if we can get this deer. It's going to be a little more towards the top, but not a whole lot. Oh, phooey. Well, you know what? I put that dead center and I meant to put it over to the left. Well, we'll see what we can do about the bow here in a minute. If you look on this one, you see this sits over in that direction, and I'm not going to try to pull it off because if I do, it'll just ruin the card. So we will do a little adjusting. That's what I do when something doesn't go exactly the way I had planned it. As I have often said, I can't chew chewing gum and walk at the same time. I get my mouth running and then I forget what I'm doing. But I'll fess up to my problem here, my error, and we will make an adjustment. All right, I'm going to put this on the front. Let me adjust this, get it balanced. Sometimes, if you need to, you can move the paper just a little bit when you need to. Okay. All right. I think what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and finish the inside, and then I think I'm going to tie another bow. And you can watch me tie the bow that I had not intended to tie, because I think if we put this one right here, you know, I guess you could put this one down at the bottom. That might look okay right there. Maybe we'll just do that. Okay. Put a little glue on the back of here. I will remind y'all that all the measurements and the kind and colors of paper and what have you that I have used for this, I will have on my web page, and it will be in a printable PDF form. And if you want a list to lay beside, then you can certainly print it off. It might make it easier for you. Okay, I am going to show you. I've got this little eraser thing. I seem to be hitting everything wrong here this afternoon. And what you do when you need a clean surface is you can take a pair of scissors and just, I hope you can see, just nip away a little bit. And right there, what I realized is I got a little piece of, I had some glue on my finger, and I touched that. Well, now I've got some gushing out here. I guess if I were working for peanuts today, I wouldn't get a peanut. I don't know, some days have been like this. I guess I can blame it on the medicine that I'm taking for the back pain. I don't normally take anything, and the doctor gave me something to help till they can figure out what's wrong. And I've just, ever since I've been doing that, things have not gone quite as well as I'd like for them to. May not have anything to do with it, but it's a good excuse for right now. I'll put it that way. Okay, I'm going to wipe that up right there because it might, I may have got some glue right there too, and I don't want to get it on the card. Okay, let me lay this over here while that dries just a second. All right. I understand there is going to be some merchandise on sale sometime this week, and I will put that up on my website as soon as I know exactly which day it's going to be. Okay. Now then. I'm picking up all these little coverings. What I was afraid of is that there might be some moisture right there on my, but it's dry now. Okay. Well, let's put this down at the bottom on this, and it'll still coordinate. And you can see what an either or looks like. See what you think. Put some glue dots on the back of that. If you have trouble tying bows without a little assistance, and what I mean is without some kind of gadget, this Bow It All is a really nice thing to have around, and they have got great videos as to how to tie the bows too, better than I could ever explain to anybody. So it's just up to you. You may be a person that can just tie them coming and going. I can tie a bow like on a child's dress or something like that, but you got to have something to hold it. And in the case of a little girl, you know, little girl will, if she'll hold still, you can get it that way. I'll put it that way. I'm going to have to put a little glue dot there to hold that too. This ribbon, this is not lightweight ribbon, it's a little bit heavier than some. But it matched the colors. Okay. I'll take this. Kind of pull them together a little bit if they, you know, try to make them look like a unit. They're tied together, but whoops, it slipped a little bit. Okay. All right. Oh, I was seeing this. Like I said, my eyes are playing tricks on me here today. You know what? I do not like that bow. All right, I'm going to leave those glue dots there. And I'm going to reach over here and get my bow it all. Or bow. It's called Bow It All by Zooter, I guess. Okay, this is what I use. And these things make different size bows. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make one loop this time. Let's see if I can bring this over you so you can see. All in the world you do is, if you don't want the back to show, you just loop it around like that. Then you come over from the back, you switch hands, then you make a loop and push this through. Like I said, I'm not great at explaining how to use this, but well, what I'm trying to do, if you wonder, is I'm trying to make sure that I can get these sides both coming out with the same design. There we go. That's a little bit better. So it's not hard to use that thing to tie a little bow. But like I said, I have to have something to secure it. This may still be too long. Okay, I think that looks better. That other bow's just too big. All right, there we go. That's a little bit better, I think. So what do you think? Do you like that bow, or do you like this one that's bigger? I mean, it's up to you. It's a personal choice. If I had put this bow up here, it might even look better. I don't know. But I don't think either one is that far off, so it's just a matter of personal preference. And I hope you have liked this little project. And I think you hope that you've got some ideas for how to make different kinds of cards from the same set. You can always do different colors. You can do plaid versus solid colors. Like on one of them, I gave it a scalloped edge down at the bottom and a couple of layers. You know, the snow on one, snow's falling. On the other one, it looks like snow swirling, but you know, it's just a white background with swirls on it. And you can put designs behind it, and you know, the different colors, the different dyes and things. It is just a matter of what you like. So I hope that in all of these cards, you saw something that you would like to make, and you can see even that little bit right there changes the looks, even though it's almost no change, just a tiny little change. Okay, folks, I guess that's about it for today. I'll try to be back in a week and have some more cards for you. If you don't see my video up in a week, just assume that I've had to have a medical procedure. I'll just put it that way. We'll leave it at that. Y'all have a good week making your Christmas cards or fall type cards, or you know, whatever kind that you prefer. The good Lord bless you and keep you. And you can always check my website, and I'll try to put the updates and what have you there. If I learn of something or haven't thought to tell you something, I will do my best to put it on my website, CardStampinWithClara.com. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.